Welcome back, sir. Oh! Almost had you. Almost there. You go. Let's begin. Let's get the ball rolling. Okay, so we are going with Avengers Endgame versus Finding Nemo.
We're just gonna jump into it. Hey, no lube or anything.
I mean, unless I don't know, we could have some small talk first.
Finding Nemo versus Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Okay, we had this discussion before, and I kind of want to stick to my guns when it comes to the criteria, when it comes to choosing a good movie.
Okay.
Because if we're going Avengers Endgame, we're basically choosing a movie that has had years and years and years and years and years of development going into it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with Finding Nemo.
Oh, Paul's going with Finding Nemo. Whew. The comment section explodes. I'm having a tough time. I'm having a tough time here. I think I'm gonna have to go with Avengers Endgame myself.
Really?
And part of that is because I never cared for the character of Dory. I never liked her. I think I like everything else in Finding Nemo, but I just find her obnoxious, which is probably why I didn't like Finding Dory very much. I recognize that I'm in the minority because everyone else seems to really like her, but I think what bothered me and people are like, really? They look at me like I'm taking this way too seriously, but the fact that her memory condition is so inconsistent in how it works drives me up the wall. That it just there's no logic behind it. I'm like, it's supposed to be like the thing from Memento, the same memory condition where she can't make any new memories, but sometimes she can, and then sometimes she can't. And then sometimes she forgets something that happened 5 minutes ago, and then sometimes she forgets what is the name of the main character? Marlon? Yeah, sometimes she forgets who he is altogether, and it's like, none of this makes any sense. People give me a hard time because they're like, Doug, you know this is a movie about talking fish, right? And I'm like, yeah. It's a world in which there's talking fish, and I completely buy that because all the fish talk. What? I just can't buy the memory thing because they didn't establish their own rules or follow them. For the most part, Finding Nemo made it this far for me.
You want to know why I think it's better? Because the arc of the character, the main character, starts in the movie, and then it ends in the movie. That same movie, whereas in Avengers Endgame, the main character, it could be argued, was Tony Stark. Now, while he did have an arc in the film, his arc started as a result of the events that led up to that point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It wasn't as big a shift for him, but Marlon went from being happy-go-lucky, just got a new apartment called an anemone and had a wife and like dozens of kids that he was going to have. She died, and it crushed him to the point where he was so scared to go out, and he wanted to protect Nemo so fiercely that he sheltered him from even experiencing anything, which is what Dory says. I know you hate her. You can't let nothing happen to him, otherwise then nothing's going to happen to him. Not much fun for little Jimbo. Which is funny because in that moment she misnames him again. But Marlon gets it. The fact of the matter is, he goes from cowardly fish to taking on literally 3 sharks and the rest of the ocean just to get to his son. And then by the end of it, he's more confident because of the experiences, and he allows Nemo the freedom to come out of his own particular shell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That arc is beautiful, and it works for me. And I just yeah. It doesn't mean that Endgame is not a great movie. I think it's fantastic, and I think as a blockbuster film, it is groundbreaking in just how much action there is and how much fun it is. It's an experience, but I think Finding Nemo is still a better movie.
Okay, no, and that's fair. I get it, and part of me is kind of still wanting to agree with you based on the fact that I had a few gripes with Endgame as well, and man, it's tough.
Endgame. Let's go with the gripes from Endgame. Let's talk about it.
Well, we did. We did a whole review on it. We did. I mean, it's on our channel. It's in the little corner there. They invent time travel Like, Tony Stark is like, what if we did this and this and this? Oh, hey, look, time travel. I know they need to get the ball rolling. But
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Did you like Kung Fury?
Yes.
By using an RNX modulator. Come on.
Okay. It's not the same thing. It's not.
No.
Okay. Although, if they in Avengers Endgame, if they ever referred to them as hacking back through time, 10 out of 10, no questions asked. I'd be all about that.
I'm pretty sure Mr. Sandberg wouldn't have felt the same way.
Number 2 is, in your case, Return of the King. In my case, it's The Last Jedi, and it's against Star Wars Revenge of the Sith for both of us.
You go first.
In my case, I'm going to go with Revenge of the Sith because I've seen Revenge of the Sith more, so I know its rewatchability, where The Last Jedi I have only seen once, and I feel like I need to give it another go. Did you make a call? Return of the King or Revenge of the Sith?
Revenge of the Sith.
Alright, we're both going Sithy.
And I'll tell you why.
Please do.
You might not. I think the Fellowship and the Two Towers, I could watch those for days. But like the Return of the King just wasn't.
It's the ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that I feel like, as far as it, again, kind of, if we're going back to your old argument of it being a self-contained movie, the ending only works because of how long it is as the trilogy, rather than as Return of the King. Yeah. Next, we're both Avengers Infinity War versus Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Infinity War.
I'm also going with Infinity War. I think that knocks off all our Harry Potters. It's funny that the Half-Blood Prince is what made it this far, because that one's not even in my upper echelon of Harry Potter films. It just sort of happened that was the one that was up against, I guess, the weakest competition. I didn't mind the Half-Blood Prince, but I felt that there was stuff missing. Like, there was the whole significance of the Half-Blood Prince when it was revealed that it was Snape and all that. Spoiler alert. I just didn't understand the significance. I don't get why that's important. Apparently in the book, it's very clearly laid out why it's important. But in the movie, that just does not translate. But there was a lot of other interesting stuff that I guess made the movie overall okay. The Dark Knight. Oh boy. Dark Knight versus the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, the first one.
Why do you gotta do this to me, Doug?
I know, it hurts.
They're both so great for different reasons.
Very different reasons. Like, they're just two different sides of the superhero movie coin. They're counterpoints to each other almost. So it's hard to put them up against each other.
They both have rewatchability, we both know that word.
Mm-hmm.
They both hold a special place in my heart. They're both different types of superhero movie, as you clearly illustrated. They both have drastically different tones. But they're both still superhero films.
And both really groundbreaking for their time as well. Like, both benchmarks in superhero movies.
The Sam Raimi Spider-Man, the first one, I think is perfect. Especially in the fact that it knows its audience, and it speaks to them very well. And I was in high school when it came out. It was perfect timing. The Dark Knight, it expands so well on what Batman Begins created, and gave us one of the most memorable villains of all time. The most memorable portrayals of a iconic villain of all time as well.
I broke him. I broke Paul. I see steam pouring out of your ears and tears streaming from your eyes.
You know what? I'm going to have to go with Spider-Man.
Wow.
I can put the Sam Raimi Spider-Man on during almost any occasion and watch it and enjoy it. But The Dark Knight, I have to be prepared for it.
Oh, okay.
It has to be a Nolan-verse time for me to watch it.
Okay, so it requires some emotional investment. I went with The Dark Knight myself, as tough a call as it is. As a longtime Spider-Man fan, when the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film came out, there was a lot of things I was a little unsatisfied with. Things
like the spider coming out of his hands and everything.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I felt like the fight with Bonesaw McGraw was not very well. I don't know, like it just didn't gel. I mean, overall the picture works for me. Overall, I really enjoy it because there's so much more that works, and it does hold a very special place in my heart because I remember, oh man, when the teaser dropped for the Spider-Man movie, I remember the surge of emotion that came through my body. But I guess with The Dark Knight, I just feel like it's just so expertly crafted. Like it just feels like next level filmmaking that really that really showed the world that comic book movies, you can make not just a good comic book film, but a fantastic movie. And so I gotta go with it. It's a tough call. It feels like at this point I feel like I'm chopping off pieces of me.
Did you ever see the trailer where it was actually the helicopter was like stuck in between?
Right between the World Trade Center towers. Yeah, that was the teaser. That's the one I remember. It was so cool. It looked like a heist film.
It did.
And then and then all of a sudden they're like stuck. And then when it panned out and it showed them stuck in webs. Actually, I'm even feeling it right now talking about it. I just remember going like, oh, it's finally here. It's finally here. We finally reached the point where we can have a Spider-Man movie.
Technology is caught up to my dreams.
Basically. It was something I always wanted. When I was a kid, the fact that there was like 3 Batman movies, 4 Superman movies, some really bad Captain America movies, and I still wanted one of Spider-Man because he was my hero, and that was what I just needed it. I needed it in my life.
Probably didn't bring Heath Ledger's performance into that argument.
You articulated it already. You said it already. It's like it's one of those performances that people will never forget. Like, look, it's been 12 years, and we're still all blown away by it. It's 2008, 12 years, and it still just feels so fresh.
I am so old.
I know, right? Fellowship of the Ring versus Captain America Civil War.
If I'm having drinks and I am chilling with some peeps and I want to be entertained, Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sit down, watch a movie, and just be enthralled in the world building, characters, music, Fellowship. Captain's my favorite superhero. But I think Samwise Gamgee is my spirit animal.
And I've been known to have a second breakfast or two in my life.
Fellowship.
Going with Fellowship of the Ring.
I'm sorry, Cap. I love you, man.
I'm having a tough time myself. I'm going to go with Fellowship as well. I just remember being in the theater for the first time, and just the sound of the ring wraiths in the theater was haunting. Just incredible. Hardly ever said any words, but became such iconic villains. Mm-hmm. And they were never as effective in the follow-up movies as they were in Fellowship of the Ring. I feel like that's when they were used at their peak potential.
Consider, the setting and the characters involved in their interactions with the Wraiths. In the Fellowship, these guys are fish out of water, right? You got these hobbits and...
it's pronounced hobbitses.
Hobbitses, oh yeah.
Yes.
Hobbits. They're basically helpless. They're not warriors is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And you've got these warriors for Sauron,
mm-hmm.
who are terrifying. If it wasn't for Aragorn, they would have died, right?
But you know what they could have done is they could have easily beaten the ring wraiths in a pie eating contest.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
A drinking contest. They would have drinking them under the table.
Totally.
See their fingers when they were reaching for the ring? They're skinny AF.
Oh yeah, lightweights for sure. And especially Samwise, he's the pudgy one, so he's got a little bit of extra bulk for the drinking contests.
I think I'll have another ale. And do you know what? Thematically and cinematically, I think that whole movie, from start to finish, is just such a masterpiece.
Okay, sorry, I should have thought this through a little bit better.
My phone's at 18%. Once it gets to 15, it usually dies.
Like, oh, it like dies right at 15? Okay.
Why?
Well, then I don't know if we'll have time to finish this. Then should we try? Should we go for another round then? Another time?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause actually, that wound up being. Oh wow, we actually were. That was about half an hour. So I guess.
Really?
Well, we talked a lot deeper about the movies this time. So okay. I guess we'll leave it at that for now. I'll figure this out. I will figure this out somehow. Well, thanks again for joining me. I won't keep you from your food. I think one more video and then we'll have this in the bag. We'll be in touch.
We will be in touch.
Yeah, we will. Cool. See you later. Enjoy your dinner.